All right, hello everybody. Nice to see you all here today. As he mentioned, I work on the Firefly team at Adobe, which is all of our different collection of models for generating visual content. And if you want to talk afterwards, I'll be happy to talk afterwards, as well as if you want to connect, I'm always happy to connect with you and learn more from all of you. So, I actually find this is a really exciting time to be a creative, mainly because for years and years, Adobe tools have always been the tools that make me feel like I'm a superhero. I can create create designs super easily. I have every single possible thing under the sun that can help me be able to design things. However, what really excites me about Gen AI is the fact that not only does it make me feel like a superhero, it feels like I'm going from Batman to Superman, and I actually have real superpowers to be able to deliver stuff. And one of the things that we also hear from our customers and from designers is the reason for this is because the amount of content that we're being asked to design, it just keeps growing and growing and growing because we need to design just a little bit more personalized content. Might start with just 1,000 different designs, and then you have to design many more of the different variations because different sizes, different social media platforms. Then, actually now it's different regions and different languages and different locales, and let's swap out the people in this part. Let's change out the foods in this other area. And pretty soon it becomes millions and millions of different variations that people are looking for, and also different types of media and platforms. Does this seem familiar to everybody? Yeah? Okay. So when we look at how we're applying Gen AI into Adobe tools, we look at it as there's amazing technology out there for generating content, but we also think that the real superpowers come in when it is tied into directly the tools that you design and work in every single day. So that's where Firefly comes in. How many people have used Firefly in Photoshop or Illustrator or any of those tools? Oh, okay, great. So there's a few things that we've done with Firefly, which again is our family of different generative AI models, particularly for visual content. The first thing is that the way that we trained our models is specifically to make sure that it's designed for commercially safe use. Instead, we took all of our 375 million plus assets inside of Adobe stock, as well as publicly, openly licensed public domain content, and we've brought those to train our models rather than scraping the internet of different artists to train that. We do it based on licensed content. And not only that, we also compensate designers who contributed to Adobe stock that help train that content as well. And it gives the peace of mind of being able to take anything that is generated with Firefly and being able to use it for commercial use. The other thing that we've also done is incorporate it directly into the tools that people use every day, like Photoshop, Illustrator, Adobe Express, to make it easy for you to be able to tie in and become core to your workflow rather than jumping back and forth to different applications. And then the third thing that we're also doing is making it easy to be able to tie it in with some of the very corporate standards that people have that might be around security, brand, by also bringing out things like custom models that you can extend with your brand, as well as APIs to be able to tie that into different applications there. So as part of Firefly, we've been really, really busy since we first announced that last year, where we've not only created one model, but multiple models. We have Adobe Firefly Image 2, which is our image models that you see in things like Photoshop, Firefly, and Adobe Express. We have our vector model for illustrators who are using Adobe Illustrator to design. You can create patterns, you can create subjects and scenes, all as vector-based content directly within your design, and it can also infer those styles from your actual design that you have within your vector content. The other thing is also we have Firefly Design 1, which is you can put within Adobe Express, you can put in a prompt and it will generate a basic design based on your description. So a prompt as a starting point, and it's particularly helpful for people who are maybe not as design savvy to get something that looks good fairly easily. So as you look at the different types of ways that we've brought Gen AI into Adobe tools, we brought it into a variety of our different applications across the board, from Photoshop, Adobe Stock, if you want to expand out images, Adobe Express, Firefly, and even to some of our digital experience. Mark idea is bringing this and making it. Another thing that is also important that is front and center to us, which is Gen AI is amazing, but it can also be a little alarming because you see a lot of content that you start blending and it starts getting confusing to see what is reality and what isn't reality. And today, one of the things that I'm very conscious of is how do we create technology that is not exacerbating the problem, but helping mitigate some of these challenges as AI gets so good at creating things that are so real. So as part of that, what we've done is we've actually been very active in creating, and we're a founding member of the Content Authenticity Initiative, which the whole thing around that is creating content credentials that can be embedded into images, audio, and video, so you can see the provenance of what made up that image. Think of it like as well as what some of those ingredients were. So as you're looking back and you're auditing, is this incorporate that with Firefly? So all your images that are created with Firefly also have content credentials in there. So you can drop that in and check and verify and see that it was created by Firefly. And we are also partnering with a lot of different members across the content creation process to help with that. From camera manufacturers, so that images that are generated from cameras have content credentials in them, to software vendors like ourselves, incorporating those into Firefly and Photoshop and so forth, to also publishers. So I want to talk about some of the examples of how we're incorporating Firefly and Gen AI into a number of different workflows. And I wanted to talk about one which is all around, say, ideation. I am not a person who's particularly good at drawing. In fact, stick figures is the extent of how much I actually got good at drawing, but I'm really good with a mouse. And I'm really good at describing what it is that I'm looking for. So if you, with Firefly, it allows you to be able to generate your content. But one of the approaches that we've taken is instead of something that you very easy for you through tools on the right-hand side to be able to configure exactly what you're looking for, what lighting, color, and tone, so that it makes it easy for you to be able to prompt through this rather than having to type in any of those specifics and describe what you're looking for there. The other thing that we've also done is try to make it easy to make it be very natural when you're generating this by adding things like aperture, shutter speed, field of view, which as a photographer is very natural language for me, and incorporating that directly into how I'm generating my images. Not only that, we are also making it easy for you to be able to take an image that you might already have as a style, and then you can generate additional images based on that style, so that it will then the tools that you work with every day. Another thing that we've also done is incorporate it into Adobe Stock, so that inside of Adobe, let's go back there. Inside of Adobe Stock, one more time. Inside of Adobe Stock, what you can then do is, as you're downloading that stock imagery, If you need to extend that out or change the dimensions because it's not quite right, instead of downloading and having to crop that, it's being able to do that right as you are actually downloading that to adjust the size, and it'll generate and expand that out as you need, so you have that content ready there. So then, once I'm getting to the creative stage of this, I live day in, day out inside of Photoshop. So being able to resize images is extremely easy. And I probably often use the crop tool, but instead I can easily just take the same crop tool and use what's called generative expand and it will analyze the rest of that and expand out that image. But again, super easy to the way that I use every single day. I can also use generative fill, and I'm using the same tools, just fill in that area. And everything that I do here is non-destructive, because you'll notice that in the right hand corner, it's creating different layers, so I can always go back and add and remove any of the changes that I made there. And it also allows me to be able to prompt for any of those areas that I want to change. So for example, for this hiking themed area here, instead of having it be something like those clothes, we want to put in hiking clothes, so we can put in our prompt there. And in a quick second, it'll then change out those clothes with now our hiking clothes. Something that I otherwise would have composited, Illustrator. So vector-based content is something that if you're illustrating, creating an illustration, putting all those paths can take a lot of time, and sometimes you just want a very quick starting point. So you can use text to vector in Illustrator to then just put in a prompt, and it will actually generate exactly what you're asking for. We're doing a cartoon tiger smiling. You can drop that in there. We have a number of our different variations that we have down below. So we can choose this one. That one's kind of cute. And just like any sort of other vector content, we can actually go in, we can move that around, we can zoom in as much as we want, but we can even go in and edit it, because all the different path points are in there for us, easy to go in and change. So super natural for us to be able to incorporate. We can recolor it however we want and change it however we want. Another way that we've also been incorporating this is text effects. So actually creating an effect with some of this type here can actually be very tedious to design. And then instead of days of design, I can do it in minutes. And if you like this, on the Firefly website, you can easily try that out. It's super cool. The third area is actually empowering everybody else. Because as a designer, I design some of the things that I need to design, but oftentimes I'm also creating something that I'm passing off to someone else to adjust or change or things like that. A client's application that's super around here. So, and we can say generate, able to put this to a number of different styles, whether it's for different things like people going to the beach, or to say, different seasonality, so for holiday sales and so forth, it gives us the options to be able to choose that. Or we can also lock down those templates to make sure that they're only able to change the things that they're allowed to change, but still give them the options to make certain adjustments, like using generative fill like we saw before. So being able to take that image that we have in the background and being able to go in and change those bits there. I only have a remote, so I can't fast forward on this one. Give it 1 second. All right. So we can take that, we can go up to the generative fill here, and we can just simply use our brush to remove some of the people in the background, the imperfections. But again, super easy. You don't need to be spend weeks learning how to use this to incorporate into how you work, and you can remove some of those different elements. Now, the other thing that we're also doing is making it easy for you to be able to create some base templates. So with text to template, we're allowing you to be able to put in a prompt. So in this case, we're looking for an after dark poster at the sports center. it'll take that prompt and it'll generate a number of different templates from that, and even take some of the elements and incorporate it into the design there. So within Adobe Express, I can then just go in and customize what I need to as a starting point on that. So making it really easy to be able to work with that. So those are 3 different areas where we're really incorporating Firefly into how people can work and create content every day. And it brings to the question, where are we going from here? What are some of the things that we're evolving? And there's a lot of cool stuff that's going to be happening this year, but I wanted to give you just a little bit of flavor of some of the things that we're exploring. Do we have sound? Wow, silence, that's amazing. Okay. So we do not have sound, right? All right. Peeking behind the curtain today, it was all done in PowerPoint. All right.
Adobe is natively integrating generative AI into Creative Cloud apps with Firefly. Firefly and Photoshop combine state-of-the-art quality with the precise creative control that professionals demand. In development now, the new generative match lets you sample from your existing images. For example, change a style from photorealistic to painterly or neon. Or with an object match, transform an object like changing a jacket from leather to your favorite denim. And simply sketch to add objects with the exact orientation and pose you want. The power of generative fill is also coming to Premiere Pro, allowing video creators to insert entirely new elements into their clips. Simply draw a selection around the area you want to change and enter a text prompt. Bring your message to the world through automatic translation. Select different languages. And let Premiere synthesize new text, voice, and even mouth movements.
In our company, we celebrate diversity every day. En nuestra empresa celebramos la diversidad todos los días.
Adobe Firefly in Creative Cloud, giving professionals the power and control they demand.
All right, so some cool stuff on the horizon, right? All right, so that's just a sneak peek of where we're going on that. Again, lots more to come, lots more of announcements that are gonna be coming this year. If you want to learn more about Firefly, you can go to firefly.adobe.com, and that is a great starting point, or open up Photoshop or Illustrator or any of those tools, and you can get started using some of those different tools on that. But I just want to say thank you for having me today. If you'd love to connect after this, I love, again, learning from you, learning from your perspectives, and thank you.